Shamalla, nominated Member of Parliament. I trust both of you can hear me. And of course, the question tonight is to dissolve or not to dissolve Parliament. And we know what the Constitution says. Article 261, Section 7 speaks about the President shall dissolve Parliament. Doesn't have much of a choice in our view. But there's a lot happening with legal experts giving various opinions on what Article 261, Section 7 actually meant. And let me begin with you, Honorable Shamalla. Does the President have any other option tonight?
I think before I answer that question, Wahiga, I am still trying to wrap my head around the actions of the Honorable Chief Justice. And the reason I'm saying this is, why is it that 16 weeks to his retirement, he makes this decision? This is the same Chief Justice, and I'm really trying to understand where he's coming from. And without questioning his integrity or character in any way, is the same Chief Justice who called a press conference to complain about the fact that the Mercedes he had was not a super engine large, similar to the one that the Speaker of the National Assembly or the Senate had. He's also the same Chief Justice who called for a press conference saying he was not being given due recognition and a red carpet treatment at public events. So at this point, I think we need to question and to deliberate and ponder over these issues. It's not just a yes or no answer at this moment.
Honorable Shamalla, I believe the Chief Justice called that press briefing to talk about more than vehicles or red carpet treatment. So for you, you say it's not possible to answer that question of whether President Uhuru has any other options.
I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm going to answer it you want me to answer it at the beginning? You said that should the President dissolve Parliament? No, he should not dissolve Parliament.
Okay, thank you. And Honorable Boss, thank you for joining us as well. Your thoughts on this Article 261, Section 7, very clear, but the word shall has become a contentious one over the last couple of days. Does the President have any other option, Honorable Boss?
Thank you, Wahiga, for having me. The President does not have any option. Throughout the development of our jurisprudence in Kenya, the word shall has always been described as a mandatory term and that there is no option. And that is why, if you look at any of the precedents that have been interpreted by our courts, there is a clear distinction, and even students in law school are taught that there is a difference between may and the use of the word shall. But even as I answer this question, Wahiga, just so that it's important for people to understand that this provision has not been put in our Constitution just in 2010. You must remember that Kenya is a signatory to various international conventions. Okay. And therefore, we have to go back that Kenya signed the Universal Declaration on Human Rights. Kenya signed the Beijing Protocol. It signed the Maputo Declaration. It signed the Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination against Women. It also signed the African Union Protocol, which also deals with discrimination against women and seeking equality for women. Okay. And in signing and ratifying those international treaties as far back as 1995, Kenya then domesticated it in its constitution.
Fair enough, Honorable Boss. And
Article 2 of our constitution says that any international treaties that we ratify become domestic law, and we have domesticated those. So this has been a long journey to have this in our Constitution. You cannot then now say that we don't now agree with those provisions in the Constitution.
Okay. Honorable Boss, we are going to, a bit later on in the program, get deeper into international laws, local laws, and to understand where both of you stand on this particular issue. I get the feeling a bit later on Newsnight, we'll get a bit of a legal lesson. But what is peculiar to many tonight is why the lawyers in this country and legal minds can't agree on something as simple as the definition of a word shall. We'll be getting into that and a bit more a bit later on in the program. Remember, 22422 is the SMS line, and the hashtag is Newsnight. That debate, business news and sports news all on the way. Stay tuned.